el exec, el Vélez, el fenómeno que todos quieren ser, el chamaquito que no pueden entender.
How we doing, guys? Welcome to episode 163 of the Exec Talk Podcast. I'm your host of Les Wasa. Happy Saturday. It is the, believe, 28th of December. I'm doing this mad early. It's 8:10 here in Florida. Because I couldn't do it last night. Didn't have enough energy. So I got to get this out quick because at 1 we got football. And we got big pitcher news. Last night while I was sleeping, Corbin Burns signs a 6-year, $210 million contract with Arizona Diamondbacks. Well, now that looks solid. Now it's Corbin Burns, Zach Gallen, and then Merrill Kelly. That third one, Brandon Pfaadt. That fourth one, probably Brandon Pfaadt there. But now Corbin Burns has a direction. Now he's not a free agent no more. He's not waiting for money. Now he steps into a situation. Although Christian Walker's gone, you know, you got Ketel Marte, you got Corbin Carroll, you got Gabby Moreno, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. You know, I don't know what they're going to do with their closer because it's definitely not going to be Sewald. Probably be Martinez going forward. But what this does is switch. For the Orioles, they better hope that John Means comes back and Kyle Bradish, because if they don't, losing Corbin Burns, I mean, he had a 2.92 ERA, was lights out, you know, top 10 in Cy Young again after winning it. So, you know, I think this is a great move for the Arizona Diamondbacks. I think it shores up that rotation, that pitching rotation at the top. You know, you had questions about Zach Gallen last year, coming off a really good season. Same thing with Merrill Kelly. Now you put a true ace at that one spot to throw at any team. You got Corbin Burns, Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly for any 3-game series, and then Brandon Pfaadt in the chamber, which was your ace last year in almost 200 innings. I think it's a great signing for the Arizona Diamondbacks, and it just shows that they still definitely want to be in the hunt for a championship. They have to team, like I said, now with Christian Walker gone, Del Castillo probably has to step up to the plate, the rookie from last year. Their high draft pick, but from 2 or 3 years ago, but pitching wise, that gives you a chance to keep games within reach for the Ketel Martes, the Corbin Carrolls, the Gabby Morenos, the Lourdes Gurriel Juniors, even the Perdomos, to do damage and be able to be the same crazy Arizona Diamondbacks that we saw go to the postseason 2 years ago and go to the World Series, where they like to run on the bases like crazy, keep you on your toes, create chaos. So really, really good signing for Corbin Burns, and also Arizona Diamondbacks. He goes to a contender. Not that he wasn't a contender before, but he wasn't there long term. I don't know why the Orioles didn't extend them. My thinking is that they are thinking about Kyle Bradish coming back and John Means, and that is enough with Grayson Rodriguez and Eric Kramer to build enough of a rotation to go up against now the Yankees and the Red Sox, especially in the AL. That, you know, you got the Royals, you got Cole Reagan, Seth Lugo, but like that pitching rotation at the top, Yankees and Red Sox, it is disgusting. Like, you have Cy Youngs everywhere. You have 101, 99, untouchable stuff. So it's going to be very interesting how the Orioles bounce back from letting Corbin Burnes go. All right. So, like I said, Chiefs were going to, I didn't say I guess they were going to dominate the Steelers, especially when Chris Jones was announced out. But come on, guys. That was an ass whooping. 29-10. First, let's get to the Steelers. George Pickens doesn't want to be there no more. It's evident. Taking off his helmet, slamming it on the ground, the constant groaning and moaning and diva behavior. Listen, man, if you have a number one receiver and you don't get him the ball, that's kind of what happens. It has happened to Garrett Wilson, has happened to Malik Neighbors, that happened to Jamar, JJ. If you are a number one receiver and you're like that, and you're like that, and they're not throwing you the ball, especially early in the game, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get diva behavior. You're going to get, he's selfish. He don't run routes. And he caused that interception because he didn't do the clear route. For the love of the game route. The one that Cooper Kupp, sealed the NFC divisional round against Tampa that one year against Tom Brady his last year. But you got to understand, you're facing the Chiefs on Christmas, in December, when they always get good, when they always start getting healthy. The Joe Tooney move to left tackle, that was incredible. Now, they can't run the ball worth a shit. I mean, worth a shit. I mean, when Isiah Pacheco gives you one fantasy point, they didn't run the ball for shit. But if we look at the box score, it was all Chiefs. This is what we expected all year. It took a long time to get here, but no Rashee Rice, no Hollywood Brown at the beginning of the season, no Isiah Pacheco. You got to understand, not everybody was there. So, you got, where are these scores? Oh, here they are. So, Chiefs 29, Steelers 10. Okay, Mahomes throws 3 TD passes, goes 21 for 38 for 320. One of the first times he goes over 300 this year. 3 touchdowns, no picks, no sacks, a 90.1 QBR, 127.1 rating. This is the Patrick Mahomes we come to expect to see. They run the ball nothing. They ran the ball 20 times. Kareem Hunt ran it 9. Isiah Pacheco 6. He got a little rib injury. He should be fine though. They ran the ball 20 times for 69 yards. And a touchdown by Kareem Hunt. But threw the ball 38 times. So 18 more pass attempts than run plays. Travis Kelce played great. 8 catches on 11 targets for 84 yards and a touchdown. Xavier, he breaks the all-time Kansas City record with Tony Gonzalez as he catches his 77th touchdown as the most touchdowns caught receptions in the history of the Kansas City Chiefs. And that's saying something because the Kansas City Chiefs go back all the way to the 1960 merger of the AFL and NFL. There were the AFL's champion when they went against the Packers in that first Super Bowl. When it was Len Dawson and Bart Starr. Lenny Dawson. Then you have Xavier Worthy, 8 catches for 79 yards and a touchdown on 9 targets. See, Xavier Worthy now is the one that's going to start getting more targets because Hollywood Brown is attracting attention. So is DeAndre. Justin Watson went 2 for 60 and a touchdown, a beautiful dime to take a 14-0 lead by Mahomes. Then you have Hollywood Brown 4 for 46 on 7 targets. So he's like 11 targets to Travis, 9 targets to Xavier, 7 targets to Hollywood. DeAndre got 4 targets. He got 2 for 7 yards on 4 targets. So maybe he has to get a little bit more, but I like this distribution. Travis Kelce is going to be open because you have 2 speedsters on the outside. So take advantage of that, get him back into the rhythm before the playoffs. And then Xavier Worthy has just been developing all year. We have Nico Remigio. He fumbled. Deion Bush recovered. Nick Bolton also recovered a fumble. This defense played absolutely lights out without Chris Jones. 5 sacks coming from 2 from Mike Dana, 1 from Felix Anudike Uzoma. I think that's how you say it. Tershawn Wharton and George Karlaftis, the Iowa product. So 5 sacks, 6 TFLs. I mean, they played really well. The back end played well. Justin Reed caught a pick when his Steelers were driving in the first half. This is the famous George Pickens didn't run. So Justin Reed had no threat to that single receiver side. He could stick to the trip side and just follow Russ's eyes to the football. And then as for the Steelers, guys, I told you, don't tell me that you're going to be good, that you're winning the division, that your guys are going to go to the Super Bowl. Don't tell me that shit. I've told you for, I don't know, 15, 16 weeks, you guys cannot run the football, okay? And now you can't pass because if George Pickens isn't interested, those bombs aren't happening. One happened. One. Crazy catch. I don't even know how the ball got there. He caught it. After that, it was a couple first downs here and there, and that's it. Russell Wilson, 23 for 37, 205, a pick, no touchdowns, 5 sacks for 43 yards, 41.7 QBR, 65.7 rating. Najee Harris, 13 carries for 74 yards. Jaylen Warren, 11 carries for 71 yards. You see why you have to give it Jaylen Warren the ball more? 31 carries as a team, 202 yards, and a touchdown to 37 passes. A little bit more balance than the Kansas City Chiefs. 202 yards on the ground. But what did it amount for? 10 points. That's what it amounted to. Pat Freiermuth, 7 for 60 on 8 targets. That was your leading receiver. 3 for 50 is George Pickens on 7 targets. Jaylen Warren's 5 for 41 on 6 targets. Calvin Austin, 4 for 31 on 5 targets. And that's pretty much it. Pat Freiermuth caught the ball, was going for the first down. Third quarter. Got it stripped. And that was the game right there. Because then there came the Justin Watson. Yeah, the Justin Watson touchdown. I mean, the Travis Kelce touchdown. That was it. As for their defense, Pat Freiermuth lose a fumble. Russell Wilson recovered his own fumble on a sack. The defense gave you 0 sacks. TJ Watt was rendered. I think he's hurt because he's usually not held like this, but he's held to nothing. Absolutely nothing. He's held to 1 TFL and 1 pass defended. No sacks, no pressures, no QB hits, nothing. You guys are 10-6. You lost the number 1 the AFC North division crown. As of right now, it is the Ravens. We're going to talk about them next. Excuse me. But this is just simple. Chiefs are 15-1. They lock up the number 1 seed by and home field advantage throughout the playoffs. So to go to the Super Bowl, you have to go through Arrowhead. You have to go through Mahomes at home, Andy Reid at home, Spagnuolo at home, Chris Jones at home, Travis Kelce at home with Taylor Swift. So you're going to have to go through Arrowhead. Another thing, the last 3 weeks, they've slowly been getting better. More yards, more points. They're still the team in their only team in the NFL to have a winning record and not score 30 yet. That's in large part to that defense. They're the number 1 scoring defense in the league at 8, allowing only 18 points a game. Granted, this is without Chris Jones this week, and annihilation happened. So, let's stop being delusional. Let's stop trying to say, oh, they're not winning the way they should be. They should be kicking people's asses and everything. They are 15-1 and on Christmas locked up the number 1 seed. What more do you want? Besides an undefeated season. What more do you want? Seriously. 15-1. Don't matter how they winning. It's just like the Patriots. The Patriots used to win by a little, used to win by a lot, used to win by scraping, used to win by blowing out. But they won. So now they get 24 days of rest. Not completely, because I believe they will play the last week of the season, at least maybe a half, something like that. Andy Reid is the type of guy to not let his players, even the starters, just sit. He's not that type of coach. So I'm sure, Pat will play a little bit, Xavier, Hollywood, but the guys that are probably going to get pulled out pretty quickly, Pat, Chris Jones ain't even going to play. I think they're just going to rest him. Probably rest Pacheco with the rib injury. Travis might not, he might play like a series or two. Same thing with DeAndre. You look at your safe Justin Reed, your Jamari Connors, maybe Karlaftis. Those type of guys are definitely gonna, your Joe Toonies, Trey Smiths, Creed Humphreys. Although you don't have for offensive linemen, you don't have a lot of backups that are legit. So unless they want to go for 16-1 and that nice record, they already beat their franchise record for wins with 15. Kansas City had never done that before. So, yeah, I just think that before you guys say Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Ravens, Bills, just pay attention to what the Kings have done all this season. Kind of flying under the radar, really showing up now. This is their time. This is when they get sharp. With Hollywood Brown back, I think it's a real big boost. If they're going to keep Joe Tooney out there at left tackle until DJ Humphries comes back, he's done a great job the last 2 weeks. No pressures, no sacks. So, Kansas City doing Kansas City things. 'Tis the season. All right, now let's go to the ass whooping that was Ravens 31, Texans 2. I told you it was going to be your ass whooping. I told you. Why? No Tank Dell, no Stephon Diggs. The offensive line for the Texans is awful. They can't run the ball unless it's with Joe Mixon. And Nico Collins is their hope and prayer. Well, all of that was encompassed into this 31-2 beating. Their defense is good, but they can only hold up for so long. Lamar had a great day, broke the record in the NFL history for QB run yards, QB rushing yards. Broke Michael Vick's record in 103 games, while Michael Vick's in his career, he set his record of 8,000 something at 143 games. So at 27 years old, 27-28, Lamar Jackson is already the leading rusher for QBs in the history of the NFL in less than 10 years. That's how crazy this guy is. That's how special he is. In my humble opinion, he is the MVP. He's thrown 39 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, only 6 turnovers total with 2 fumbles. Ran for 4. So he has 42 touchdowns right now. He's accounted for. And this week, it was just touchdown to Isiah Likely on a crazy play that Danielle Hunter was trying to sack him, and he did his old Lamar, roll to the right, run full speed, stop, look at Danielle Hunter, try to juke him and everything, wait for Isiah Likely to get off of his man, and then boom, dime, touchdown. Then he had a 49-yard QB keep off the right side where he had so much green grass that he just throttled down and hit a calm 21.5 miles an hour jogging. Yeah, he said he was jogging. Believe me, the film says he was jogging because, I've seen him like really take off and he was jogging. He just ran away from, who was chasing him, which was the end or the linebacker who wasn't going to catch him. So overall, you got to look at this. Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. Lamar went for 10 for 15. He threw the ball 15 times, but went for 168 and 2 touchdowns, 1 sack for 3 yards. 99.8 QBR, a 143.9 rating, just disgusting. Derrick Henry goes 27 carries for 147 yards and a touchdown. Derrick Henry was eaten. From quarter one, these holes were huge, okay? That's why he averaged 5.4 yards a carry. It was just untouched for the first three yards, and then he got contacted. Again, they're undefeated if they give Derrick Henry the ball 20 or more times. That's the recipe. The recipe is to keep the faith in the run, keep the faith in Derrick Henry, especially in the second half where he dominates because of people not wanting to tackle him after a first half of getting him, bruising them up as he takes the ball every time. So you had Derrick 147. You had Lamar with 4 for 87 and the long of 48, which was a touchdown. Derrick Henry also got a touchdown. They ran the ball 43 times for 252, 5.8 yards a carry as a team, 2 touchdowns. They passed the ball 17 times, but 15 were from Lamar. Completed 11 passes as a team, 10 by Lamar. For 181 yards. So 43-17, that's how you know you were dominating the line of scrimmage. Just resetting it. On both sides of the ball, to be honest. Mark Andrews went 2 catches for 68 yards and a touchdown on 2 targets. Zay went 2 for 31 on 5 targets. None of this was meaningful in any way because, Isiah Likely went 1 for 9. The one was that touchdown. Because they just ran the ball so well that they didn't need to pass the ball. The defense gave them 5 sacks, just dominant. Roquan Smith got one on a blitz. Kyle Van Noy got another one. Chris Board got one on a blitz. Odafe Owe got one. Nnamdi Madubuike got one. So they just dominated up front, and Kyle Hamilton had a great diving pick. Yeah, they just dominated, man. For the Houston won its division. They're going to have a home playoff game, but they're so hurt on the offensive side of the ball, and that offensive line is so trash. CJ went 17 for 31, 185. No touchdowns and a pick. A 13.1 QBR. I mean, just abysmal. 59.2 rating. Joe Mixon goes 9 carries for 26 yards. Very non-Joe Mixon-like. They ran the ball 17 times, threw it 32 times, 31 by CJ. CJ got a little bit hurt at the end, but he came back. Ran the ball 17 times, so no bounce. Nico went 3 for 59 on 6 targets. Mechie went 5 for 48 on 8 targets, so he was the more targeted receiver. Robert Woods 2 for 21 on 2 targets. Dalton Schultz 2 for 21 on 6 targets. Yeah, it wasn't good. John Mechie fumbled. They only got 1 sack, and that being by half a sack by Will Anderson and half a sack by Tommy Togiai. no interceptions, but they got a safety there because they stopped the run. But after that, it was night. Also, I think this puts Lamar Jackson into that MVP. I mean, it was lopsided before this game. Then now it's I believe minus something like minus 165 or minus 185 to plus 180 is the MVP odds as of right now between Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. I think Lamar Jackson should take it. I don't care about voters fatigue. The guy's had an amazing season. The only guy to put numbers like this in touchdown to TD ratio is Aaron Rodgers, and the only guy to have a higher QBR passer rating through a whole season is Aaron Rodgers, and he's second. He's at 121.4, I believe, and then Aaron was like a 123.8, something like that in one of his MVP years, 2021, I think. So shout out to the Ravens taking care of business. They take advantage of the Steelers' loss. They put a game on the Steelers in the win column, 10-11, and now hold their own destiny to win the division and get a home playoff game, while the Steelers are going to be on the outside looking in, going on the road, possibly to a Houston or a Buffalo to match up. Then you got another poop bowl, at least in football terms. Seahawks, Bears. Seahawks win 6-3. This game was over literally at halftime because nothing happened in the second half. Seahawks are a mess. Why are they a mess? No K-Walk. Geno just not being sharp. He didn't throw an interception, but he was just not sharp this game. Charbonnet was running well, but they stopped him in the second half. This game was so boring that I fell asleep at halftime, guys. And thank God, because it was 6-3. And it became 6-3 right at halftime with a couple seconds left. Geno, 17 for 23, 160, nothing special, 3 sacks for 17 yards, 92.7 rating. Zach Charbonnet, 15 for 57. They ran the ball 25 times, passed the ball 23 times. They ran the ball for 122 yards. Noah Fant went 4 for 43 on 5 targets. DK went 3 for 42 on 3 targets. JSN, not a JSN-like performance at all. It was raining in Soldier Field. 3 for 32 on 6 targets. Tyler Lockett, 3 for 22 on 4 targets. You had 2 fumbles by Geno. 1 he recovered. Pharaoh Brown also fumbled and lost it. And then Watimi recovered a fumble. Their defense gave them 7 sacks. Add that to the leading sacked quarterback in the league. Another 7 sacks. 1 by Devon Witherspoon on a blitz. Leonard Williams got 2 up the middle. Uchenna Uwosu got 1. You got 1 by Jaron Reed, 1 by Rayshon Jenkins, 1 by Derek Hall. The only guy that didn't get into the party was Byron Murphy. The second, Reek Woolen caught the interception that basically ended the game, and also Caleb hadn't thrown an interception, I think, in 380-something passes since October. Longest streak for an NFL rookie. This one got kind of tipped and picked, but still picked nonetheless. That was pretty much it. If we go to the Bears, it is Caleb Williams, 16 for 28, 122, no touchdowns, a pick, 7 sacks for 46 yards, a QBR of an abysmal 24.4, a rating of an abysmal 53. They ran the ball 23 times as a team, 103 yards. 12 for 53 went DeAndre Swift. 5 for 37 went Caleb. They passed the ball 28 times. DJ Moore went 6 for 54. On 8 targets. DeAndre Swift went 4 for 28 on 5 targets. Keenan Allen 5 for 25 on 8 targets. And Rome Odunze 1 for 15 on 4 targets. Let's just need to get the ball to your playmakers. Coleman Shelton got a fumble. He fumbled. Caleb fumbled. He recovered both Coleman's and his. And then Kyler Gordon recovered a fumble. The defense gave him 3 sacks. Played pretty darn well. You got a sack by Darrell Taylor. You got a sack by Brian Byron Cowart and Montez Sweat. No picks. This was just, Seahawks needed to win this to keep up with the Rams and have any chance of getting into the playoffs or maybe winning the division. But for the Bears, man, you got to fire everything, man. Everything. You need an offensive coach, whether that's Ben Johnson, whether that's Mike Vrabel, whether that's Pete Carroll, that's a culture guy, whether that's Bill Belichick, but he's at UNC. You need either culture changer or an offensive guru to work with Caleb. You guys suck. Your defense shouldn't suck, but since your offense sucks so bad that it keeps your defense on the field, your defense suffers for it. But we'll see what they do in the draft. They better just draft offensive linemen at this point. All right. So for the rest of the games, we're going to run through this because I have a haircut appointment at 10. I have to drive over there. So we're going to go today at 1 o'clock. We have Chargers Patriots. We're going with the Chargers there. They're fighting for their playoff, not their playoff lives, but they need to win in order to eliminate either the Colts or the Dolphins or the Bengals. So we're going with the Chargers there. I think that they just lock it down against the Patriots. Yeah, the Patriots have a good defense, but I think that Justin Herbert's just a little bit too much, and that Chargers defense is going to force Drake May into mistakes. It's a 6-point line at Foxborough. It's going to be cold, I'm pretty sure. It's 39. It's going to be okay. But I still think that the Chargers got this for sure. Then you got Broncos, Bengals, and this is the pressure point right here. Bengals need to win. Broncos, if they lose, keep the door open for the Dolphins, the Bengals, and the Colts. If the Denver wins, they're in. That's it. They just need to beat the Bengals. Now, Joe Burrow's playing at an MVP-type level without an MVP-type record. This defense for Denver is insane. They're giving the benefit of the doubt to the Bengals. 56.6 is the matchup predicted to 43.1. It's a 3-point spread in Cincinnati. Burrow is, if he throws for 300 yards, he'll be at 4,500. He has 39 interceptions, so he'll get over 40. 39 touchdowns and 8 interceptions, so he'll get over 40. Like I said, Chase Brown needs a 100-yard game or 77-yard game to get to 1,000 for the first time in his career. Chase could possibly go to 1,617 touchdowns today. Sutton needs 72 yards to get to 1,000 one more time. Who's going to play? Tyler Beatty. He's not playing for the Broncos. Delaren Turner-Yell, he's not playing. Alex Singleton's not going to play. Quinn Bailey's not playing. T. Higgins will play. Sheldon Rankins is not playing. Charlie Jones, the wide receiver, he'll play. Tanner Hudson, doubtful. Geno Stone will play. I'm going to go with the Bengals here. Just because I believe Joe Burrow is just at a different level than Bo Nix right now. I think that he could dissect that defense. He's probably not going to throw the Surtains away. They're going to try to move around Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, try to get some matchups there. But I'm going to go with the Bengals. I just feel like the Bengals are really rolling right now. Trey Hendrickson, the leading sack leader in the NFL, I think he's going to have a decent day. Broncos can't run the football, it's going to be very difficult. Although that Bengals defense has been giving up points like crazy. But I think the Bengals fight for their playoff lives, and that keeps the Dolphins alive. So that is at 4:30 today. And then Cardinals-Rams tonight at 10. All these are an NFL Network. Cardinals-Rams, we're going with the Rams here. It's a 6.5-point spread. A 6.5-point spread at SoFi. The Rams basically can lock up the division, I believe, with a win. Let me see here. Actually, no. They basically just keep pace. Let me see. A 55.9 in the matchup predictor to the Rams. Stafford could leave this game possibly with almost 3,800 yards with 300, 400-yard day. Kyron's over 1,200. So is Connor, over 1,000. Trey McBride needs 52 yards to get to 1,000 and 8 receptions to get to 100. Puka, within the next 2 weeks, needs 140-something, 148 to get to 1,000. James Conner's going to play. Elijah Jones, the corner's not playing. Matt Prater's not going to play. Baron Browning is playing. Trey Benson's playing. Then you have Rob Havenstein. He's going to play. Nick Hampton's on IR. KT Leviston's on IR. Troy Reader's on IR. And Laurel Murchison is on IR. Yeah. I'm going to go with the Rams, though. I'm going to go with the Rams. I don't think the Arizona Cardinals can, figure it out against that defense. That defense is young, is getting better. 6.5-point spread, it might be a little steep, but I'm going to go with Stafford. Jets-Bills on Sunday. Tomorrow at 1, we're going with the Bills there. I think it's going to be a massacre. Kind of a padding stats day for Josh Allen. The Jets might try to come out and be aggressive with Devontae and Garrett Wilson. Maybe try to run the ball with Breece Hall, but that Bills defense is too good. And I just don't think that the Bills are going to be stopped. Titans, Jaguars, man, another poop bowl. I'm going to go with the Jaguars on this one. The Titans are 1-point favorites, and probably because they can run the ball with Tony Pollard. Yeah, I mean, this game is just awful, bro. The over's 39.5. They expect these people not to. A 60.4 matchup predictor at Jacksonville. Brian Robinson's over 1,000 yards as a rookie. Could get 10 touchdowns if he catches one. Calvin Ridley's at 56 receptions for 857. So if he goes big, he can get to 1,000 again for the first time since Atlanta. Bryce Oliver is going to play. Tony Pollard's going to play. Amani Hooker's playing. Tyler Boyd is playing. Dylan Radins is out. Ventrell Miller is out. Darnell Savage is out. Yasir Abdullah is questionable, so he'll play. Walker Little is out. Evan Ingram on IR. Okay, guys, listen, I love Brian Thomas Jr., but I don't like Mac Jones. I like Tony Pollard, but I don't like Mason Rudolph. At this point, this is a toss-up. We're going to go with the predictor. We'll go with Tennessee. I don't feel particularly good about it, but I wouldn't feel particularly good about it if I picked the Jaguars either at home when they've shown just failure upon failure upon failure. So I'm going to go with the Titans in, let's say, 10-6, somewhere around there, if they can score more than that. Panthers, Bucks, another pressure point of the NFC South. The Atlanta Falcons control their destiny because of the Bucks loss last week. They have to win this game. It's a 80 to 19.9 percent matchup predictor. It's an 8-point spread, 7.5. I think Bryce Young's going to play well. He needs just 51 yards to get to 2,000 passing yards, which is not a big deal, but he's been on and off. Baker will definitely pass 4,000 yards. He has 34 touchdowns and 15 picks. Hubbard is over 1,000. Bucky needs 80 yards more to get over 1,000. I think he'll get that. Evan needs 100, and 182 yards to get to 1,000 for the 11th year in a row. He needs one more touchdown to get to 10. I think that's also a streak that he had. Chuba Hubbard's over 1,000 already. DJ Wanham is going to play. Chow Smith-Wade is not. Jadeveon Clowney's playing. J.C. Horn is doubtful. Ashaw Robinson is questionable. He'll play. Jordan Whitehead is on IR. KJ Britt's going to play. Sterling Shepard's out. Antoine Winfield is out. Kate Otten is out. I still think Tampa Bay has enough with that defense and Vita Vea. But I would not be surprised if the Panthers give them a run for their money. But since the Bucs want to make it to the playoffs, I'm going to go with the Buccaneers here at home versus the Panthers. Could there be some tanking going on from the Panthers to try to get a Travis Hunter? Maybe. Travis Hunter right now is slated to go to the Patriots at the 3rd pick. So they maybe want to do that. The Patriots are 3-12 at this point. After they lose to the Chargers, they'll be at 3-13. So that's, even if the Panthers lose, they'll be at 4-12. So they'll still be below them. Maybe they can trade up or something. But I got the Bucs there. Then we got Saints Raiders, another poop bowl. So this is a 1.5 point spread for the Raiders. 2.5 point spread, excuse me. Well, one is a 1.5 point spread, and there's another spread for 2.5. So, 58.1% chance in New Orleans for the Raiders to win. I don't know why. Alvin Kamara's out. 50 yards away from 1,000. Unfortunately, he will not get there. Alvin Kamara is also their leading in receiving yards with 543 and 68 catches. Brock Bowers is over 100 catches. He's over 1,000 yards as a rookie tight end, which is insane. You have Jordan Meredith out. Max Crosby's on IR. Sincere McCormick is on IR. Janarius Robinson is on IR. Zamir White is on IR. Actually, Janarius Robinson is suspended. Nathan Shepard is questionable. He'll play. Rico Payton, the corner, he'll play. MVS, he'll play. Chris Olave's out. And Alvin Kamara is out. I am going with the Saints at home. Bro, every time you pick the Raiders, they suck. Okay? Every single time. Right now, they're in line for Shador. I think that having Shador in their sights, or even Cam Ward, I think that they're going to maybe tank a little bit to try to get that. Because if they win, they go to 4-12. That would jump the Patriots up. And that means that the Patriots would then take Travis Hunter at the 2nd overall pick. So maybe it doesn't change for them, but at the same time, I think that they would want to secure that quarterback. So I'm going with the Saints, even though the spread is 1.5 for the Raiders. Cowboys, Eagles, we're going Eagles here. No Jordan Hurts, but this is all no Jalen Hurts. He's out. 63.2 still the matchup predictor. It's a -7.5 spread. That's a little much having Kenny Pickett back there. Damn, Jalen Hurts, if he doesn't play any of the next 2 games, he is not at 3,000 yards passing, which is unfortunate. He's 97 yards away. Rico Dowdle needs 97 yards as well to pass 1,000 for his first time in his career. Saquon needs a big day, 150 plus, to try to get close to that record. He'll be at 1,900. If he gets 150, he is 100. He's at 1,938. Add 50 to that, he would be at 1,978 with one week to go, having to get to 2,103 to break the record. 2,103 to tie, 2,104 to break it. A.J. Brown's already over 1,000. C.D. Lamb's already at over 1,000, over 100. He's out. So you have Keemon Hall, he's out. T.J. Bass is doubtful. Amari Oriware, he's out. Donovan Wilson, he's playing. Nick Vigil's going to play. And then Nakobe Dean is doubtful. Will Shipley's out. Britton Covey's out. Jalen Hurts is out. And Bryce Huff is on IR. That's tough, but I think the Philadelphia Eagles are literally going to hand it off to Saquon. Let that Mailata, Lane Johnson, Landon Dickerson just mow their way through there. And possibly, who knows, man? I mean, it's not that crazy to think that Barkley can get. No, it is crazy. Never mind. I thought he could get there. He could probably get to 2,000 in this game. He needs 172 yards. If he gets 172 yards today, he will hit 2,000 in 16 games, which is, the standard, I guess. And then he would leave just 104 yards for next week, which is very doable. So I think they're going to try to lean on him as much as possible, get him as many carries as possible. And if he breaks some, he could have a really big day. But I'm going with the Eagles, even with Kenny Pickett under center. Next, we have Colts-Giants. We're going with the Colts there. Giants have no hope. They're going to be a Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward team. Colts still have a chance at the playoffs, especially if the Bengals win and beat the Broncos. That means the door's open. So I'm going to go with the Colts. It's a 7.5 point spread. That might be a little much, but the Giants really suck. As for the injury report, you have Anthony Richardson's questionable. Jonathan Taylor's over 1,000. Josh Downs can't get to 1,000. Malik Neighbors is questionable, but he needs three more receptions, gets to 100. And he needs 31 more yards, and he gets to 1,000 as a rookie. You have Juju Brents on IR. EJ Speed will play. Quentin Nelson's going to play. Mo Alley Cox is playing. Anthony Richardson's going to play because they're all questionable, so I think they're all playing. Greg Stroman Jr., he ain't playing. John Michael Smith Jr., he ain't playing. Raheem Lane, he's not playing. Micah McFadden, they're all out. Malik Neighbors is questionable. He should play. 2-13, worst team in the NFL right now, in line for Shedeur. And I think it's going to be that way. Now, that's a little steep. -7.5, that's a little steep. That means it's more than a touchdown. To a Colts team that really can't pass or move the ball unless they run. But I'm going to still go with the Colts in New York. Then we have Dolphins-Browns to keep our season alive. I'm going to go with the Dolphins. It's a 6.5 point spread in Cleveland. How cold is it going to be? 62 degrees. That's fine. Jordan Poyer's playing. Kendall Fuller's not. D. Eskridge might play. Jalen Waddle might play. Tua is questionable, but he probably will play. Deshaun Watson's on IR. Ogbo or Okoronkwo is out. Jameis Winston is questionable. Cedric Tillman is out. And David Njoku's out. Yeah, I mean, when that offense is that. Tua could go over 3,000 this game if he wants to. Devon Achane needs to have a really big game to get close to 1,000 for next week. Tyreek needs 176 yards to get to 1,000. He could possibly do it. Maybe. Jerry Jeudy's already over 1,000. -6.5 for the Dolphins with DTR most likely playing quarterback. I'm going to go with the Dolphins to keep our playoff hopes alive. We've been playing well the last few weeks. So, if we want to even have a shot at the playoffs, we better win this. We got to win out. Hope the Broncos and the Chargers lose at some point. Broncos can lose today against the Bengals. The Chargers are going to win, so they might lock up a spot and just be that last seventh spot between the Dolphins, Colts, and the Broncos. Packers Vikings, best game of the week. by far is on Fox, America's Game of the Week. It's in Minnesota. I'm going to go with the Vikings. I just think that this Vikings team is playing on super hot right now on all cylinders, 13-2. This is technically for the division because if the Minnesota Vikings lose and Lions win, they clinch the division. If Minnesota wins, Lions lose, Minnesota clinches the division. And if they both win, they meet next week in the season finale for the division and the number 1 seed. So it's a 1.5 point spread they're saying Green Bay 56% to 43.7%. Packers are a 1.5 point underdog. So the spread is 1.5, but the matchup predictor says Green Bay. Sam needs 234 yards to get to 4,000. Jacobs is already over 1,000. He's at 1,200. Aaron Jones already over 1,000. Jaron Reed needs 197 yards to get to 1,000. Justin Jefferson's he needs 8 catches to get to 100 again. He already has 10 touchdowns, 1,387 on catching. Andre Dillard's out. Javon Bullard is questionable, so he'll play. Quay is out. Quay Walker. Evan Williams is out. Jair Alexander's out. Ivan Pace Jr. is out. Fabian Moreau is out. J.J. McCarthy is out. Christian Darrisaw is out. And Taki Taimani is out. I'm going to go with Minnesota, especially with no Jair Alexander. That means you don't have nobody to cover JJ. And Quay Walker, that means that inside of your tackle box could be susceptible to Aaron Jones or even TJ Hawkinson. So I'm going to go with the Vikings here in probably what sets up next week as a winner-take-all game for the number 1 seed in the NFC and the NFC North title. Falcons Commanders Sunday at 8. I'm going to go Commanders here, even against Michael Penix. Commanders have a 60.2% chance on the matchup predictor, a minus 4.5 point spread. Bijan's already over 1,000. Jaden Daniels needs 273 yards to get to 1,000 rushing as a ball carrier. He has 3,303 through the air, 22 touchdowns, passes with 8 picks. Drake London needs just 32 yards to get to 1,000 for the first time in his career. Terry McLaurin's already over 1,000. He had 1,029 with 12 touchdowns. Antonio Hamilton Sr. ain't playing. Kevin Kim is not playing. Young Ho Koo's not playing. Troy Anderson's not playing. Jace McClellan's not playing. Andrew Wiley ain't playing. Tyler Owens is not playing. Jordan McGee is not playing. Jonathan Allen is out, and Marshawn Lattimore is also out. I'm going to still go Washington. I don't think that Atlanta could deal with Jaden Daniels, especially if they run the ball with Brian Robinson Jr. I like Michael Penix. This might be a shootout, but I'm going to go with the Commanders trying to secure a playoff spot in the NFC. With this win, I believe that they do clinch. Let's see here. Because Atlanta has the division right now in the NFC South. They have to win and hope that Tampa Bay loses to then get that that division. Let's see here. Starter, breakout stars, blah, 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 blah. Playoff implication. So like I said, the Commanders win, they're in. They're already in. But they might be in before kickoff if Tampa Bay loses at home to Carolina. Although, we talked about that game, we picked Tampa Bay. And then for the Falcons, if they win the division if Tampa Bay loses. So Yeah, a lot of stuff at stake, but I think Commanders, Jaden Daniels just shows that he's going to be the rookie of the year, and honestly, just puts it to bed right here. 3.5 point spread. It's in Washington. It's going to be 56 and raining. So I believe in Jaden Daniels. Although in the elements, Michael Penix is a really good quarterback. I saw him at Washington in rain, and he did great. And then finally Monday, Lions 49ers in Candlestick at Santa Clara. 60.6 matchup predictor. I think it should be more than that. You have everybody. Jared Goff could maybe get to like 4,300 and maybe 35 touchdowns with 10 picks. George Kittle needs 43 yards to get to 1,000 once again. Amon-Ra's already over 1,000. Jahmyr Gibbs is already over 1,000. Terrion Arnold will play. Khalif Raymond will not. Alex Anzalone will not. David Montgomery will not. Jalen Reeves-Maybin will not. Tatum Bethune not going to play. Kyle Juszczyk will play. He's questionable. Isaac Guerrero questionable. He'll play. Jair Brown questionable. I think he'll play. And Colton McKivitz questionable. He'll also play. I'm still going with the Detroit Lions here to try to shore up that number 1 seed, especially if the Vikings lose to the Packers. Lions can get the number 1 seed and the division with a win. So we're going to go with the Lions to destroy the wounded and kind of mediocre 49ers of this year. All right. If we go to the standings, the conference standings, so the playoffs, KC already has the number 1 seed. Buffalo is the 2 seed. Baltimore is trying to get the division and the 3 seed. Pittsburgh already in at the 5-6 seed. Then you got the Chargers, Denver, Houston, who already got the division, Colts, Miami, and Cincinnati. That's who's fighting for those last 2 spots. On the NFC, you have Detroit in, Minnesota in, Philadelphia in, Green Bay in. Philadelphia could get the division with a Washington Commanders loss. Detroit could get the division with a Minnesota loss. Minnesota could take the division and the number 1 seed with a Detroit loss, or when they face each other next week. Green Bay's kind of stuck at the 5 seed there. Then you have Washington, Rams, Seattle, Atlanta, and Tampa Bay vying for those last 2 spots. For those last 2 spots. Because Detroit, Minnesota, Philly, Green Bay, there's 3 NFC South teams, NFC North teams there. Then you have Philly, Washington, or NFC East. But Philly's the only one that has clinched. And they even haven't clinched. They haven't even clinched the division yet. That's still up in the air. So they better keep winning. But yeah. And then let's check the stats after what happened. Burrow's still number 1. Barkley's still Derrick Henry's at 1783. So he can't. I mean, he needs 1783, 227 yards between the next 2 games. Or the next game. Yeah, to get to 2,000. I thought he was closer. I thought he made it to 1,800, but he didn't. That would have been crazy because then Derrick would have been, I think, the only running back in NFL history to go over 2,000 twice. That would have been crazy. And then they're in a stratosphere of their own, Saquon and him, because like Kyron Williams at 1243, and he's the 3rd. Chase is at 1510. Justin Jefferson is at 1387. Zaire Franklin, Buda Baker, Roquan Smith, Zach Bond, and Henley are your tackle leaders. Hendrickson's at 13.5 sacks. Daniil Hunter's right behind him at 12. Myles Garrett's right behind him at 12. Kyle Van Noy's at 11.5, and TJ Watt's at 11.5. McKinney and Kirby Joseph are still the NFL leaders in sacks. Let's go to the NBA right quick. NBA on Christmas. Knicks just outlast the Spurs as Wembanyama goes crazy for, 42, 6 of 16 from 3, 6 of 31, 16 of 31 from the field, played 40 minutes, 18 rebounds, 4 assists. He just went off, but nobody else went with him except Sohan. He went with 21, but Selgate only gave him 11. Harrison Barnes gave him 3. Chris Paul only gave him 13. And then Mikal Bridges went 43 minutes, 17 of 25, 6 of 9 from 3, 41 points, 1 rebound, 4 assists. And then you have 21 and 9 from Karl Anthony Towns. You had 20 and 7 and 9 from Jalen Brunson. Josh Hart gave you 12, 12, and 6. So they played great, and they just outlasted them. Then you had Timberwolves beat the Mavericks after Luka got hurt. Mavericks tried to mount a comeback. Timberwolves closed them out. That was an exciting game. I don't know why the Timberwolves keep blowing out people by 20, and then in the fourth quarter just collapse. They've been happening for the last 3 years. 76ers shocked the Celtics as Embiid shakes off a pregame fall that almost twisted his ankle. You had 27 and 9 from Embiid, 23 from Caleb Martin, only 12 from Paul George. Kelly Oubre gave you 4, and then Tyrese Maxey went 41 minutes, 12 for 23, 3 from 9 from 3. He went 33, 4, and 12. That was nice. Tatum gave him 32 and 15 rebounds. Horford gave him 17. Porzingis gave you 9. Derek White gave you 21. And Jaylen Brown gave you 23. Probably got nothing from the bench. So shout out to the 76ers beating Boston on Christmas at home. Then the Lakers won on a game winner by Austin Reeves, a game-winning layup after Curry hit the game-tying 3. You have LeBron go for 31, 4, and 10. Austin Reeves goes 26, 10, 10, and 10 for a triple-double. Anthony Davis got hurt. And then you had Steph go for 38, 8 for 15 from 3, 4 for 20, 14 for 24 from the field, 6 assists, and nobody went with him. Wiggins only dropped in 21 and 12. That's pretty good. 11 and 9 for Trace Jackson Davis. 3, 10, and 6 from Draymond. Schroeder gave you 11. Kuminga off the bench gave you 14, but it wasn't enough. Couldn't hold him back, unfortunately. And then the Suns beat the Nuggets 110 to 100, while Durant and Beal scored 27, and Jokic scores 25, 15, and 2. So they limited the assist, and that's what happens when you limit the assist. You only got 13 from Jamal Murray. The standings as they stand right now, you got Cleveland 4 games up on Boston, so they're starting to beat separation there. You have the Knicks only 2 games behind Boston for that second spot at 6 games back. Orlando's at 9 games back, but they lost Mo Wagner. He's done for the season, torn ACL, so they have to hope for Paolo and Franz to get back. Jalen Suggs is back. Milwaukee's at 10 back at 5, so 1 back of Orlando. Miami's at 10.5 back with the Jimmy Butler trade rumors swirling right now. Is it Lakers? Is it Golden State? Is it possibly somewhere else? Atlanta's 11 back at 7. You have Indiana at 12.5 back at 8. Detroit 13 back. Chicago 14 back. Philly's at 14.5 back, so half a game out of the play-in. They've crawled back. Brooklyn's at 15 back, and then Charlotte, Toronto, and Washington, that's over. They're over 20 back. It's over. As for the West, you have OKC leading the West by 3.5 games over Memphis. Memphis has a half game lead on Houston for that second seed. Dallas is 5 games back of the number 1 seed. The Lakers have fought their way back up to 7.5 games back. The Clippers are 7.5 games back, so they're 5 and 6 respectively. You have Denver at 8 back. Minnesota 8.5 back in the 8th spot. 9th spot, you got Golden State at 9 back. San Antonio's at the 10th spot, 9 back, and then Phoenix at 9.5 back and 11. Sac is 12 back, so they're already losing ground. Mike Brown got fired, so Sacramento keeps doing this coaching carousel as they've always done, never have stability. And then you have Portland at 14.5 back, Utah at 17, and New Orleans at 20.5 back. Other than that, that has been episode 163 of the Exec Talk Podcast. I'm your host, El Exec. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I know that it's either early or I sound like asleep. I promise you I'm not asleep. I'm just, my voice is deep in the morning because I haven't had my morning coffee or food. I love you guys. Like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell, follow me on all my socials, and I leave you all with the outro.
El fenómeno que todos quieren ser, el chamaquito que no pueden